to this digital skills and work webinar. This is the latest event in our autumn schedule. My name's Andy. I'm a project officer with Uni Learn. I can already see lots of yourselves introducing on the chat panel on the side. So please keep doing that. Chat panel's there for you to use. Just keep going with that throughout the webinar. Feel free to kind of add post resources and things there as well. If you think they'll be useful to others, and say chat amongst yourselves there too. My colleagues from Uni Learn, they'll be adding some useful links to resources and publications as we go through this morning as well. We do have an ask a question button at the bottom of the screen, which hopefully you can all see as well. So again, feel free to use that that facility. If you've got any questions, drop them in as they come up, and what we'll do is try and get around to answering as many of those as we can, either during or more likely towards the end of the webinar. On the technical side, we've got Yusuf running all that side of things in the background. It does feel a bit, we're doing a session on digital, that does feel like we're almost asking for some kind of digital trouble, but hopefully we'll be fine this morning. If anything does come up, we'll do our best to get it resolved as quickly as we can, because obviously these things kind of do happen from time to time, but we'll try and sort them out for you. The session will be recorded though, and we'll have it up on our YouTube channel, hopefully tomorrow. We should have it up there tomorrow for you. So if anyone needs to leave early or anything, you'll still have an opportunity to catch up with it another time. So I think that's all the housekeeping done, I think. Just to introduce what our webinar topic is today. This week is Get Online Week, as I'm sure lots of people will know. Digital is changing the way we live, the way we lead our work and personal lives. Changing workplaces as well, and also all the adapting we've done under the current coronavirus pandemic as well has all driven the growth of digital, the need to keep up, the need to make the most of it as well. And so in this webinar, we're going to discuss what the skills, needs and demands are, how employers and unions can enable opportunities for all and promote digital skills as well. As I said, we'll be assured to kind of leave some time for your questions as well. So really pleased that we've been joined today by Liz North. Liz is from Nesta, the Programme Manager for the Careertech Challenge Fund. That's a partnership between Nesta and the Department for Education. Supports the development of innovative services to help people navigate the changing labour market and also learn the skills that they need for the future of work as well. So welcome, Liz. Thank you for joining us this morning, and I'll now hand over to you.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you, Yusuf, in the background as well. I'm really delighted to be here with you all this morning. I'm just going to share my screen so that you can see the presentation. I can now see that on screen, so that's perfect. Lovely. So yes, my name's Liz. I'm the Programme Manager for the Careertech Challenge Fund at Nesta. I'm really delighted to be joining you all this morning, and really thankful for everything that you guys do, promoting learning, promoting digital, and as we say, Get Online Week this week, easy for me to say. And we're all doing something digital by being here, so hopefully that's a bonus, but I'm not going to speak too soon in case we have some problems. So in this presentation, I'm just going to have a quick look through who Nesta are and what we've looked at previously, if you haven't heard of us, and how the changing workplace and adapting to coronavirus is driving the need to be digitally savvy, what skills are needed, and some of the interventions which may help with that. So, Nesta. Nesta is a UK-based charity, and we're supported by a financial endowment back in 1998. We are a non-public funding seeking charity, so we don't raise funds directly from the public. What we do is we work with partners around the globe to bring bold ideas to life to change the world for good. That's really our big mission statement. So in 2019, we began work on the future of work and skills. And what we really wanted to look at here was the empowering innovations that could help people navigate their future careers, skills and jobs. And we really want to find out what works by partnering with the adult learning sector and using testing, experimentation and research to really dig down into what works to get adults into good jobs, and good jobs in the broadest sense as well. We want work to be fulfilling and to be high quality and to fit to people's lifestyles. So a flavour of our research to date, it's a bit of a busy slide. I will go into a couple of these reports a little bit more. But ones that I particularly wanted to pull out was in the bottom left-hand corner, there's what motivates adults to learn. And this one really gives tips on overcoming the intrinsic and extrinsic barriers to learning, and may be of particular use to uni and learning reps in looking at how to overcome these barriers, be it lack of confidence, lack of knowledge, lack of time, or something that's happened extrinsically. So they've had a bad experience of the education of schooling in their previous lives. Another report is the Becoming Future Fits, which is based on our research and a reskilling program in the Benelux countries, and has some really great information on building an effective adult learning system that helps tackle inequality and social exclusion. I'll come back on to a lot more of these in detail in a little bit, but one that I wanted to pull out, sorry, that is my fault. What I should say is these slides will be shared. If you click on any of these ones, it will go into the report. So it's a quick link to any of them if you do want to see them in future. But a quick reminder for me to click on the right place in the slide. So Precarious to Prepared. Precarious to Prepared was our manifesto, which we brought out in 2019. And our concern that we really wanted to look at was the people who are at risk of being trapped in low-paid, low-quality jobs. And this has been exacerbated by COVID-19. The workplace has changed dramatically. We've had a lot of people furloughed, and we've had a look at what actually the key sectors are. So some previously poorly thought of jobs have actually become really, really key. Thinking of retail workers, supermarket workers, the refuse collectors, etc., are now key workers and really celebrated for that. And we don't want to lose that. We want to make sure that these people are celebrated for the hard work that they do. So our vision of the future labour market is to have access to empowering information, advice and guidance on careers using technology and digital solutions to reduce and not drive the inequalities in job access. Through this, we have 4 strands. So one is open data, and that's particularly looking at how we can have access to better, more quality data that helps drive the information, advice and guidance. And I'll come back to that shortly. The second pillar is broader skills taught from young. So this is looking at how to enrich the curriculum with personal and social skills to be taught from a young age. The third is learning which fits the individual needs and circumstances, and very much is linked to the Careertech challenge, which I'll talk about shortly. And the last one is better quality local jobs and services. So people are not only aware of what's out there, but also have better access and better use in getting into them. So the next slide is a bit of a busy one. So these particular quotes I've pulled out because this is what the changing world of work was like. In 2019, we brought out Precarious to Prepared, and the quote is, as a result of technological progress and demographic changes, more than 6 million people in the UK are currently employed in occupations that are likely to change radically or disappear entirely by 2030. Now, at the time, we were looking particularly at how automation can affect the workplace. And that has not gone away, but we're also looking at quite a changed labour market. 9.1 million people were furloughed in August, and in April 2020, 46.6% of people in employment did some form of working from home. 86% of those did so due to the pandemic. So the bottom quote is taken from a brilliant report released by the RSA last week called Who is at Risk? Work and Automation in a Time of COVID-19. It's particularly talking about the role of robots and how robots have come along during the pandemic. Robots don't get sick, they also don't infect people. So what might have happened in 3 to 4 years has happened within 6 weeks. So the world of work is changing rapidly, but what we do know for the skills that are needed for work now is based on the DFE's the Department for Education's Employer Skills Survey from 2019. And this is an annual survey measuring the sectors with skill gaps and the in-demand skills needs. It breaks down into sector skills gaps, in-demand technical specialist and knowledge skills, and in-demand personal skills. And 81,000 employers took part in this particular survey. The sector skills gaps, perhaps unsurprisingly, were business services and health and social work sectors with the most vacancies. However, the sectors that had the hardest to fill vacancies were construction and manufacturing, and that could be due to technical qualifications or experience of the people that they're looking to hire. The second section is in-demand technical specialist or knowledge skills, and operational skills, including a lack of knowledge of the products and services that the employer offers and or the knowledge about how the organisation works. 45% of employers felt that their employees didn't have those skills, along with complex analytical skills. The in-demand personal skills are also very interesting. The ability to manage one's time and prioritise tasks at 45% means that almost 1 in 2 people employers don't believe their employees have these skills. And then another interesting one is that the ability to manage one's own feelings and handle the feelings of others came out as 33%. So 1 in 3 employees have struggled with resilience, or their employers believe they have struggled with resilience. Now, I should caveat this with this survey came out last week. It's very, very new to the market. However, it's based on the annual survey which took place in 2019. 2019, we didn't know what was happening in the economy, and the world has changed very, very quickly overnight. So this is what we believe the futures of work and the skills that are needed for it is. The future of work and skills, the future of skills and employment in 2030 was a report that Nesta brought out in 2019. And what it really looked at was the labour market, both of the US and the UK. And we found that there was a strong emphasis on interpersonal skills and higher order cognitive skills and system skills. It also confirmed the importance of skills such as originality, fluency of ideas, and active learning. And that's what we really mean by higher order cognitive skills. I'm going to come back to that active learning point in a moment. And this, the next one is, again, refers back to the who is at risk, work and automation in a time of COVID-19, the RSA report, which is much more positive. It looks at the impacts of technology on jobs will ultimately depend on how businesses decide to adopt them. But it could be liberation of colleagues from roles which are dirty, dull, or dangerous tasks. And technology in this context could be used to create new roles, from robot maintenance engineers to virtual Zoom hosts, which may offer workers improved pay, scope for progression, and a sense of purpose. They also give a really wonderful example in the reports, which I just wanted to bring out now. They said that increased automation could give some workers a break from the humdrum of solving problems related to an unexpected item in the bagging area, which I'm pretty sure we've all been at one point in our consumer lives recently. By liberating them from this humdrum of problem solving, the employees could be enabled to focus on high-touch customer experiences, providing services more akin to a personal concierge or an in-store influencer. Now, that's an ideal purpose for these people moving forwards. We will be constrained by factors such as demand and the supply of how these skills can be given. Now, I want to caveat this now. I don't want to give a politician's response, but I should say we're in an unprecedented circumstance. We don't know how the economy will react. We're in a very deep recession. We don't know if it's going to be a V-shaped recovery, a W-shaped recovery, or something longer term. So I wanted to put this caveat at the bottom here. We don't know how the future of skills will be needed for the future of work. But we are doing some work around it. So Nesta is currently looking at various solutions to this, including mapping career causeways. So mapping career causeways maps the skills demand and supply to inform provision of needs. It's a report and an algorithm that we've developed with JP Morgan Chase Foundation, and it maps the connections between occupations, showing which other occupations have the similar skills requirement and work context. It It gives information for the individual on automation risk of the job that they're employed in, and helps workers to discover the opportunities that they are likely to be more secure in on a long-term basis, providing information on salary as well. It can also model the impact of upskilling, showing what further opportunities are opened if the worker adds another skill. So if you are, for example, a hotel concierge, it can add you off to various different sectors. But if you're also doing something in your personal life, maybe you're a trustee, so you've got high skills at knowledge sharing, you can add in that skill and it will direct you off to various different skills and occupations that you could do as well. This will be available in an open algorithm that we're going to publish early next year, and we'd love to speak to people about it when you have a moment. Another thing that we're doing is the skills repository, which is tentatively called the Job Observatory for now. And this will be measuring the live skills demand based on employers, live skills demand from employers based on live job adverts. So we're going to data scrape all of that information and pop it in an open repository. And that will be available from summer of 2021. Now, I just wanted to come back to my earlier point about active learning and how lifelong learning can help. As you can see from our career transitions algorithm, you can add in a skill and it opens up more jobs. So on this next slide, which is very, very busy, I wanted to pull out what learning you may have already done and what is out there at the moment. So on the top left, that's a picture of some professional development that I did at work back in the days when we could go into the office, even though Andy's there today. And we might have had a bit more contact with our colleagues and actually developed this together. On the right-hand side, I've put some free online courses that are available from the government through the National Career Service at the moment. This is English, maths, digital. There's some actual sector-specific ones like health and social care to cover the sector skills gap. And on the bottom left, I wanted to pop in a really high representation from what was my dining room table when I was a student for the Open University. It's very busy, and this was when I was preparing for an exam. I just wanted to show that we all do learning at some point in our lives, whether it's getting onto this webcast today, if it's getting online this week, if it's helping a colleague, we're all learning every day. And there's adequate opportunities to do so. I'm just going to pause for a moment, see if there are any questions, and have a bit of water, if that's okay.
Thank you, Liz. Really interesting stuff so far you've covered there, and talking about the likes of upskilling and adding things as we look to what may be needed going kind of forward, even though, as you say, it can be unpredictable in many ways at the moment. I was obviously caught by that slide there, tearing myself away from all the notes eventually, but looking at the other slide with the National Careers Service website and the online digital and IT courses they have there, and some others as well mentioned on that slide. But with face-to-face learning largely on hold, Uni Learning reps will have been encouraging people to try online learning like more than ever over the last few months. I just wondered if you had any kind of tips or suggestions perhaps on for someone who's starting to learn on digital platforms for the first time, or even just thinking about how they would go about looking at learning through digital means.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a very basic tip, I would give anyone, just make sure that you have given yourself a bit of a break to do so in the first place. Learning is hard, finding the time for it is hard, and actually having the headspace when we're in a pandemic, when you've got 101 other responsibilities to do, when the washing is piling up and you've got various other responsibilities that you need to get through. You've got to be very disciplined in giving yourself the time to learn if that's something that you wish to do. In terms of finding courses online, there are a wealth of courses. It's called massive open online courses for a reason. There are loads of them. The best thing to do is to really start by thinking about what you're particularly interested in. something that's nothing to do with your work. I know people who are firefighters and have done degrees in English literature, in the sciences, because it's a real passion of theirs, even though it's not linked to their direct work. If you're learning something, it's really important to do something that you care about and that you're interested in, rather than something that's just going to be the means to an end. And then the last thing is reward yourself. It's really difficult. When I was going through my essays, submitting them to the Open University, you start second questioning yourself. You start going, oh, have I actually written an essay, or have I just written a load of gobbledygook that I've submitted and it's going to be sent back and it's awful. Now, thankfully, I didn't do that. I did a thorough proofread in various measures, but you do have to give yourself a reward afterwards. If it's a nice day out with the family because you haven't seen them as much, if it's a bar of chocolate, a glass of wine, do make sure that you give yourself something to look forward to, because it is difficult to find the time for yourself and to improve yourself continuously as well.
Yeah, not going to argue with the rewards tip. I think that's always welcome. But yeah, definitely good tips there about what can help, and really conscious of maybe not being too hard on yourself, and trying to find the time. But that's not always easy, and how we do that. In terms of Uni Learning Reps, because of course they're called on to support their learners a lot, both with digital needs and learning all round. Any thoughts from your work with those about what particular things to keep an eye out for, what particular things can be very helpful?
Again, I would say if it's something that you've enjoyed doing, I think some of the best recommendations are the courses that you've enjoyed yourself. So not to give a spoiler alert, but I will be talking about Value My Skills cards later, along with the Create Your Own Future programme. It is usually helpful to have gone through the process yourself in order to give someone that authentic experience. Also means that you can help them if they're becoming unstuck with going, I tried to sign up, I couldn't get past this stage, because it's difficult to do so. What I would say is don't put too much pressure on yourself as a union learning rep. No one expects you to have 100% of the answers. But if you've got a really good cohort, and if you can go back to your union, if you can talk to your fellow union learning reps and getting the recommendations, then that's really key. We're always on the lookout at Nesta, UFI, similarly. We're always looking out for different courses and how this helps. We can't publish who we think are quality because we're not an accreditations board, but we're more than happy to have a conversation if you think, actually, we really want to have a look at this particular skill. I could say, well, I know about this particular company that do it. If you are looking a bit more for a quality mark, you do have the likes of UCAS that you can have a look at theirs, Prospects as well, or some of the ones like NCFE, they do the accreditation of particular qualifications. So they'll be able to say what is quality because it's met their awarding body standards.
Yeah, thank you for those as well. Do you think, I mean, listening to people talking to their digital skills as well, I think is a key Uni Learning Rep role, isn't it? Giving learners the chance just to talk about, as kind of you related to earlier, about finding what their interests are, what they care about and will find of interest. So just that in itself, giving people the voice almost to discuss what they're thinking around learning and what might catch their eye, I guess.
Oh, absolutely, and how that can build their agency as well. I think we all need a bit of a voice in this sector, and union learning reps are so helpful at propelling someone's voice and helping them discover their own. I think that's a really key part that could be brilliant for a number of people.
Okay, thank you. If we go back to, we can leave you now, I think, to go back and finish your presentation. Thanks for taking that time, and we'll pick up some more questions again at the end of the slides.
Perfect. I'll just share my screen again, and I'm getting a bit of an orange glow off of my monitor next to me. So apologies if I'm a bit of an odd colour. Lovely. This is the Careertech Challenge, and something that I'm really proud to be working on. I'm the Programme Manager of the Careertech Challenge Fund, and what we're particularly looking at here is how to empower workers to navigate their future career path the innovative use of data and online learning. So we're really taking that manifesto for the precarious to prepared, the pillars of open data and learning that fits individual needs and circumstances, and putting it into a programme. So it's a 2-track programme. It's a challenge prize, which improves access to accurate data-driven information, advice and guidance, and a grant fund to support innovative online solutions to test what interventions can motivate adults to complete a course, because it is really difficult to have that sustained motivation to complete a course, and also improve their career adaptability. Now, career adaptability is a bit of a odd term. It was first coined by Mark Savakas, and what it's looking at is how to increase an individual's concern, control, curiosity and confidence towards their career. And then Jenny Binrose later added commitment. So these particular parts are what builds the individual's resilience, how they look for different courses, different skills, different job opportunities, different sectors, how they have the confidence to follow them, to look into them, and then they have the commitment to changing their career by actually following this up. And this really harks back to the Department for Education annual skills survey, where 1/3 of people cannot manage their own feelings and the feelings of others. By building your career adaptability, you're building your resilience. So in the grant fund, these are our grantees. It's a mixture of incumbents, the likes of the colleges, the universities. It's also got a lot of fresh players, new players bringing fresh eyes to an old problem. How do you install motivation to learn and complete courses and build this career adaptability? I'm going to talk about 4 of these in a little more depth now. So the first is City of Glasgow College's Citizen Literacy app. And this is the use of high technology for low literacy. It's a phonics-based course which supports adults into learning, using reading, listening, speaking, and writing on the smartphone. So you download this app to your smartphone, and remember the days when we used to actually sign for a parcel? It uses the same technology that the adult who may not have written for a long time or may not have written before at all, it translates that online so that they begin tracing letters onto their smartphone and getting feedback in the first couple of hours. This will be really helpful for people who are English for speakers of other language and for native English speakers who've got bad connotations of school, maybe had a bad experience, maybe has undiagnosed neurodiverse conditions, dyslexia, dyspraxia, etc. And in the first couple of hours, the learner will form words and it will form basic sentences. And it will give them the confidence to seek out in-person learning at college and develop themselves from there. The next course that I want to share with you is Coventry University's Career Skills for the 2020s. This course is on Future Learn, which is an online learning platform, and it's open now. And what it begins to do is the learner will go on, they'll map their strengths and assess their skills before going on to some actual online learning to increase their skills. The first one being communication online, including presenting. Resilience in the workplace is a particular topic. So again, managing one's own feelings and the feelings of others, and problem solving. And in the last week, it brings them all together to look at how the workplace is changing and how to adapt with resilience and emotional intelligence to the changing workplace, as well as doing the employability skills, learning to do your CV, presenting with others, collaborating with others online. This course is open now. It's in its pilot. You can still sign up. It's Career Skills for the 2020s on Future Learn and is open and free for everyone. We're also doing a closed course of this. So if your employer or your union are particularly interested in having this course as a closed course, please do get in contact and I can put you in touch with the team to try and facilitate that. The next one that I want to talk you through is Digital Mums. Digital Mums are a wonderful social media and marketing training agency for mums to get into the digital and marketing sector. The particular course that we're funding with Digital Mums is the Future Skills Bootcamp, which is a 10-week bootcamp in a cohort of women completing fun challenges, which focuses on basic digital skills and market research. And I really wanted to pull out this quote from Dana. Dana is a Digital Mums graduate. She's 45 years old and was a swimming teacher before the pandemic started. So because of the field I was in and because I had been out of the office for a while, I worried about whether I'd be able to cope with the level of it being the online learning. But then lockdown happened and I couldn't teach swimming and decided now was as good a time as any to go for it. I think we've all felt that at some point during the last 6 months. We all have had a look at different online learning, and we're really, really proud of Dana. Dana completed the 10-week bootcamp and she's gone on to sign up for a foundation studies in social media marketing. So she's actively going through the career adaptability of changing her career with a commitment to do so. The next course, the next Future Skills Bootcamp, will be run in January. It's absolutely free. Now, you do have to be a woman to do it. It is unashamedly for women only this time, this course. However, we do have other mixed courses as well, for example, Asian Academy. So if you do have particular men who are looking at this particular focus for their future careers, please do get in contact and I can talk you through that. And the final one that I want to talk you through is Saffron Interactive and the TUC's Create Your Own Future. Now, this is kicking off with a webinar on the 6th of November, so I want to minimise the spoilers today, but it is based on the Value My Skills tool cards. It will give a self-assessment guiding yourself through the Value My Skills tool cards, and then you'll get a mentor who will direct you off to training and learning with a personalised learning path. Now, I really wanted to just mention this one today because it's so key. But I also wanted to thank the Uni Learning reps personally for all of the input that you guys have put in, all the wonderful information that you've shared with us. And I'm so super excited to actually have this tool in your hands so that you can trial it and use it with your colleagues. And I'm really interested to hear what your feedback is and how we can improve it for future iterations. Now, on to the next slide. This is a very busy slide, and it looks at the 20 prize finalists who are doing the Careertech Challenge Prize using novel data to improve information, advice and guidance. I don't want to pull this out in any further detail other than to say these are our 20 that we're really proud to be supporting. And over the next couple of months, we're going to be developing the prize finalists before a winner and a runner-up are announced in March 2021. The winner will receive 120,000, the runner-up will receive £80,000 to further develop their platforms and launch into the UK market. And they'll be using novel labour market data, maybe localised, maybe national, and using that to help people, individuals who use the platforms to direct off to different careers and different training opportunities. On the other side, the grant fund innovators will be developed, scaled and evaluated continuously over the next year, with learners using the solutions from autumn 2020. So from the 6th of November, Create Your Own Future will launch. I'll be really excited to see how you guys use that. As I said, the Digital Mums platform, next run is in January 2021. The City of Glasgow Citizen Literacy app, that's in its beta testing mode at the moment, and we can share the link to the website so that you can complete that if you're very interested in it. And the Coventry University Career Skills for the 2020s is live and open now, but there is the opportunity to have a closed course as well. So this is my ask of you. In the interim, could you help to facilitate learners or users that could benefit from our digital solutions? Could you provide introductions to particular employers, unions in your area who could provide us with learners, users or jobs to make sure that these tools are getting to the most people? And also, we're not perfect. Please let us know what we've missed. It's a really moving feast. It's a really big field. And you guys, the wealth of knowledge that you could bring from your own experiences, please let us know what we've missed, because undoubtedly there will be something. The last thing that I really wanted to touch on was that 80% of Britons have felt that working from home has negatively impacted their health. That's from a Nuffield survey study that came out earlier this year. And I know you guys do wonderful work. I know the invaluable work of the Uni Learning reps to support each other and support all of our colleagues. But I wanted to highlight that there are resources out there. This particular one is just the Mental Health at Work Toolkit, which directs off to other resources with the NHS and with Nuffield Health, etc. And we'll share the slides that have the embedded links to all of these, but please do continue to support each other and to support yourselves through this really difficult time. That's all of my presentation, but just to say again, thank you to TUC for having me. I'm hoping that you're going to give me some really challenging questions now. And if you do wish to get in touch, then my email address is straight there. Please do get in contact.
Thank you very much, Liz. Just one question maybe to start with on the links and things. The ones you mentioned, like the Sea of Glasgow one and the Digital Mums, are those links embedded in the slides as well, or could we gather them up and send them out separately, those sorts of things?
They aren't embedded as yet, but
No,
I can send you over, and I'll send you over an updated presentation to circulate.
Great. So one way or other we can get those out to people. Was one quick question just about the Glasgow one. Just was that available nationwide? Will that be available nationwide? I spotted that coming in from Mick.
Yes, it is available nationwide. It is in its beta testing phase at the moment. So the Perfect app isn't ready to launch yet, and we're gathering feedback on it. Because our funding for the programme has come from the Department of Education, our particular learners have to be in a particular cohort, which includes England as its only as the only location that we can evaluate learners from. That doesn't mean to say that people from Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Republic of Ireland can't use it. They can. It's just they can't feed into our evaluation.
Okay.
So just to bear that in mind.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Just to mention, we have a digital skills page on Uni Learn as well. So just to mention, there are some resources people can access there, and information on the likes of other aspects of digital as well. So hopefully someone will just pop that into the chat box for us now. And obviously anything else we come across that we can add to that, then we can do that too. So again, people can visit there to see what's available. And I can see some other things coming up in the chat that my colleagues are posting responses to around kind of midlife development and things as well. So thank you for posting those in, everyone. So yeah, if we can look at maybe what questions have come in. If we've got a few minutes left to look at what's been posted up here. First question in from Ian. What can be done to tackle digital exclusion? So big question there. Thoughts on that one, Liz?
That's a very big question. Thank you, Ian, for asking it. I feel slightly overwhelmed by the gravitas of it. So digital exclusion is something that is really key, and I think we can look to companies and charities such as Future.now, who are looking really to tackle digital exclusion. I think that there is a wealth of things that could be done here. So Future.now have launched Devices.now, and that is helping people to actually have the devices to connect to the internet. So that's one simple task. Another one is really, and I agree with Anne Gelpin here entirely, digital exclusion for low-income gig economy. It's really, really difficult to tackle. The price of data is quite astronomical. If you live in a semi-rural area like myself, then there's only really certain ways that you can get online. So something that we're particularly keen on focusing through the Careertech Challenge is, can these platforms be delivered online, offline, and how can you do it so that it isn't, if it is fitting into someone's daily routine, such as doing it on the commute, doing it on the bus, how can we make sure that the platforms aren't so data hungry that they're sapping all of your data, and then you've got no room left to have the oh so important video conversations with your family during the pandemic, for example. I think there is definitely something that we could do to lobby government to make sure that data is a little bit more affordable, and wages are fair and can go into that. It should definitely be one of Maslow's hierarchy of needs to be on Wi-Fi or data at the moment. But there should be also a digital guarantee, which is coming in the future government basic skills entitlements as well. So there are some tools that are coming up. I can't guarantee the quality of them. We're very much working on quality through the Careertech Challenge, but with it being a basic entitlement in future, that should improve quality as well.
Thanks. Yeah. So I mean, some much kind of bigger picture stuff there. You've got Uni Learning reps playing the part in kind of encouraging and motivating learners, but there's many more other aspects to improving digital skills and improving digital access to that as well, isn't there, as you touched on there. We've had a question about the Uni Learning Fund, which is probably not one for you to answer, and withdrawing that and the impact that might have. I just would say with our wealth of case studies and the information we've got on our website and on the TUC campaign website as well, we've definitely tried to bring out some of the information that backs up how valuable Uni Learning work is around not just digital skills, but all aspects of skills as well. Any thoughts on the aspect as well around, I suppose, access for all? We've got a question there from Anne about many of their disabled members finding the speed of tuition fast and that making it inaccessible, and thoughts on how we might be able to remove barriers for disabled workers.
Yeah, thank you,
If
Anne.
that's an area you would, yeah.
Thank you, Anne, for the question. So yes, this is definitely an area where technology can be used for good and artificial intelligence can be used for good. So with a lot of our platforms, we're building in measures such as machine learning, natural language processing, and the like, so that the learner can complete the learning at their own pace. They'll also be mentored via a chatbot or via an in-person coach to make sure that they are completing the learning. But measures such as NLP and machine learning, what that can do is spot when a learner is struggling to complete the lessons and take them back to an area where they're more comfortable. So we do that a lot with our English, maths, and basic entitlements. Century Tech have a platform within the Careertech cohort that does exactly this. It monitors where the learner is getting to, and if they continue to get questions wrong, and how to take them back to a level that they're more comfortable with. Equally, if they're speeding through it, then it takes them through the learning content in a lot quicker time to make sure that they can get to the end and certification quicker. But it also looks to interact and see where that bit of progression and that little bit of support can actually unlock the help a bit better for the individual. And we can provide that support either through the mentor, through the chatbot, through the coach, and really understand where the sticking point is. Because I believe that sometimes that's a good indication of why there isn't the high completion rates of online learning, because there isn't necessarily that contact, and also it can move too quickly. So yes, like I say, this is a really good point where tech can be used for good.
And again, do you think it's important for that kind of voice to be got across and listened to? Again, I guess that's part of this picture too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone's got a valuable voice, and just making sure that it's heard. And I know that the Uni Learning reps definitely will be supporting a lot of people that are struggling to do this. And yeah, again, really appreciate it. And I would just say, I won't comment on Derek's question too much, but I have signed the petition. And I think you guys do wonderful work.
Great, thank you, Liz. We're coming up to kind of the end of the time today, so thank you so much for everything you've covered this morning. We'll probably have a flick through and just see if there's any other things that people have commented on that we can feed back at all, or look into and get back to people on as well. I don't know if you've any final words, Liz, though, just before we round up today.
Just to say thank you very much for your time. Thank you for everyone for going through the presentation with me. And if you do have any questions, any comments, like I say, please do get in contact and let us know if there's anything that you want to discuss further, and please what we've missed as well.
That's great. Thanks again, Liz. Much appreciated. And as well as a big thank you to you, also to everyone that's joined us this morning and participated in the webinar today. Really hope you found it a useful session. As I said at the start, we'll be adding the webinar to our YouTube channel, so you can go back and kind of watch it in your own time. as and when you get it. As we referred to earlier, it's not always easy to find time, but it'll be there once it's on the YouTube channel. It'll be there kind of whenever you need it and get the chance as well. And we'll share the links and things as well, I think from today, post the event too, as much as we can. I'd just like to finish, I think, as well by flagging up our next 2 webinars that are coming up. So we've got these lined up early in November. I've got one on Create Your Own Future, as very, very welcome, Liz, for promoting that again for us. So that's coming up soon. That's the next one. And then after that, we'll have a webinar on mentoring apprentices as well. So details of those and all the other sessions and things we've got coming up can be found on the Uni Learn events page, which is just as I speak popping up on the screen as well. So you can go straight there and sign up for anything else we've mentioned today that's caught your eye too. And then the other thing to mention, I think, is our annual conference. That's a lot online this year. That's on the 3rd of November and is also listed on the events page. And it would be great if we could see lots of you at that event too. So we'll round off the day there and say thanks again and see you at our next event. Bye for now.
Thanks, Andy.